Hammycraft here. I live in the UK, and with the global pandemic going on, I made an inventory of all my hamster supplies before the government lockdown. I did this because I have asthma and was advised to shield from the public for at least 3 months. Pet stores are still open amongst the lockdown, however, a few of the stores, like garden centers, where I get my supplies from, are now closed and online delivery services are overwhelmed. But I planned ahead for this, and went out and gathered the supplies my hamsters would run out of during the next couple of months. That way, if I did fall ill, my family would have the necessary supplies on hand to look after my hamsters until I recovered. So without further ado, let's get into my hamster haul. For bedding, I like to use paper-based, as well as wood and other substrates. It depends on the theme and the type of year for my hamsters. For paper-based bedding, I have Kaytee Clean and Cozy. I order these from Amazon. They're kind of difficult to find in stores in the UK. I do sometimes find Kaytee Clean and Cozy the natural color at Pets at Home, but most of the time I can't find these in shops and I can only order them online. I tend to get the white because it has the least amount of dust. I find other Kaytee colors tend to be a bit dusty. And when I'm purchasing on Amazon, I tend to get the 49.2 liter or the biggest size that they have because I know that I'm going to go through this whole package just for my Syrian hamster with one cage clean out and a whole package just for my dwarf hamsters when I do their cage clean out. I'll leave a link in the description below for where I get this on Amazon. On the subject of paper-based items, I tend to stock up on dinner napkins from the grocery store. Both of these packages came from Asda. These are great for your hamster cage because you can shred these up either by hand with a shredder, or sometimes I like to use a rotary cutter to shred these up, and then you can add it with your paper-based bedding, and that will help make it last longer because it helps with the volume. So these are things that I tend to always have on hand. I do also have a lot of these in different colors already in my supply inventory. The next substrate I have in my haul is the Tesco cat litter wood pellets. These are always great to have. They're really good for odor control. This will last quite a while if you use it just as a substrate for odor control in certain areas of your cage. However, one bag should cover maybe one level of your hamster cage, depending. That's why I normally always just get 2, depending on what I'm going to use them for. And because we're going into the warmer months soon, I wanted to use this for my Syrian hamster because it's quite a cooling substrate. The next substrate I got was sand. Because of hamsters, you can never have enough sand. I tend to get my sand and other unique substrates from Pets at Home because their reptile section just has a lot more variety than they do in their hamster sections. For the most part at Pets at Home, they tend to just have paper-based beddings in their hamster section and not much else. I also like Pets at Home because for their reptile substrates, they're actually buy one, get one half off. So if you're looking to buy something in bulk, it's a great deal. I got 2 of the 5 kilogram bags of the desert sand. My dwarf hamsters really like sand baths, however my Syrian hamster doesn't. But I do want to make sure that I have plenty of this on hand depending on what cage theme I'm going to do. So I got the more natural looking sand. They do have a red desert sand at Pets at Home, however I wouldn't recommend it because I find that it stains my hamster's fur. For my Syrian hamster, I got the Teeny Friends Farm bathing sand. I don't actually use this as a sand bath in my Syrian hamster's cage. This is used for his potty. He doesn't really like to take sand baths, so this is safe. Even though that they've changed the formula, I find that this is safe to use for potties. And it's also a lot more odor absorbent than using actual sand. So that's just what I use this for. My Syrian hamster is actually allergic to aspen bedding, so I got aspen bedding just for my dwarf hamsters for their future cage design, and so it just gives a different texture. And they're perfectly fine to use this. I got 2 bags of it to get the half-off deal. The last substrate I got was the cocoa fiber bricks from Pets at Home. I got 2. These are really good for your hamsters in the warmer months. You do activate this with water, so if you do use it for your hamster, you do have to wait for this to dry. I tend to put this down on a bag with paper towels and I let it dry for about a week and I aerate it, and it is a good substrate to use and I've had no problems with it in the past, and 2 bricks will get you quite a lot of substrate. For cleaning supplies, I didn't get too many items, mainly because I do have things around my house I could use to clean my hamster cages, like vinegar, water, paper towels, those sorts of things. But what I do like to always stock up on is baby wipes. They're really good for spot cleaning, urine off of wheels and those sorts of things, cleaning out food bowls. And so I like to get really at the grocery store, whether it's Asda or Tesco or Aldi, it's just whatever they have on hand that's the cheapest. And it seems like it's really hard to find baby wipes these days, but for my hamsters I always get the sensitive wipes that are fragrance free. The other item I stocked up on is the Johnson's Clean and Safe, and this is specifically for hamsters. There are different types for different animals, but this one has a safety label for hamsters. I tend to use this if my hamster has been sick, or if I'm doing a deep cleaning once a month. I'll use this in areas that really need it. But it's not a necessity, but it's good to have in case that your hamster gets sick and you do need to sanitize their cage. For foods, I like to give my hamsters a good variety. For my Syrian, I like to give him Hairy Hamster Tasty Mix. This is actually a pretty good formula and it has a lot of unique pieces. I also mix in nutritional pellets along with this mix. This isn't the only thing that he gets. So along with the normal mix, I also add in Nutri-Pellets. They come in different forms, so you can get lab blocks and those sorts of things. What I tend to go for is the Pets at Home nuggets, or at least up until recently that's what I used, just because of the high protein content. Recently I changed over to Science Selective. I don't have the package anymore, but I will leave a photo on the screen somewhere. I've heard good things about Science Selective, so I wanted to give it a try. They kind of have a weird smell to these pellets, so I'm not quite sure if they're good or not yet. I've just tested out recently to see if my hamsters would like it. I tend to store my hamster food in glass jars that are airtight to keep it as fresh as possible. The next thing I got was from Holland & Barrett, and it was the debittered brewer's yeast powder. Brewer's yeast actually has really good health benefits for hamsters, and so I wanted to give it a try. I actually learned about this from ErinsAnimals channel, so I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to check it out. She covers the topic pretty well in one of her videos. When I'm feeding my Syrian hamster, I tend to just put half of the Nutri-Pellets and then half the mix of the Hairy Hamster, and then I sprinkle on top the brewer's yeast. For my dwarf hamsters, they are smaller, so they need smaller seeds to munch on. So I make my own DIY hamster mix for them, but this is what I picked up. Also from Holland & Barrett, they're having a sale on seeds. And I got the 5-seed mix pack, and it was on sale for £1.25. It contains pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, golden linseeds, brown linseeds, and sesame seed. These are all hamster safe seeds. I also picked up a packet of chia seeds. These are too much just for dwarf hamsters, this package, but I will be using this for myself as well. But chia seeds actually have anti-diabetic properties for dwarf hamsters, so it's healthy to add to their mix. For my dwarf hamsters, I do make them their own mix. There's a few ingredients that I don't have here, but I can do a video on it later on. So they get 1 part of the DIY dwarf mix, and then they also get 1 part of the Science Selective pellets for nutrition, and a little bit of the debittered yeast as well. The last items that I got were herbs. The first one I got from my garden center. And this is a flour mix. It contains marigold, parsley, beetroot, nettle, peas, carrot, dandelion, plantain, and wheat. So there's a lot of healthy things in there. Herbs are really beneficial for hamsters, and I tend to sprinkle this around their cage to promote foraging. And recently VictoriaRaechel did a video on herbs, so I'll also leave a link down below in the description for you to check out her channel and her views on the topic. And the last thing is from Pets at Home. And this is the Woodlands Parsley and Celery Forage Pack. And once again, this is something that I would sprinkle around their cage for foraging, or sometimes I do mix it into their food bowls as well. For treats, I just have a few items because I do have a lot still in my hamster supply. Something that I always get my hands on are millet sprays. They're very healthy for your hamster and promotes really good foraging. I get this from my local garden center, but you can find it at Pets at Home, and I believe the range also sells millet. And I think sometimes as well I've seen them occasionally in the pet section of Tesco and Asda. Sometimes they'll carry bird supplies, and then you'll see the millet sprays there as well. Another favorite treat for my hamsters is baby food. They only get this twice a week, once or twice a month, and they just get 1 small scoop. And so I have the Cow and Gate brand, and I picked up 3 different flavors so they don't get bored. So I have the carrot and chicken risotto, cauliflower and cheese, and the pumpkin chicken. I've tested these flavors out with my hamsters and they all seem to love it. Next thing I got was from Rosewood, the Naturals strawberry sticks. I give this to my Syrian hamster once a month, and I will cut it in half. For my dwarf hamsters, I'll actually cut this down to 1/4, about that much. And they'll get that just once a month, usually about the middle of the month. And I try out different flavors every time so that don't get too bored. This contains celery, seeds, vegetables, nuts, egg, and strawberry, so there's good protein in this. It also is a natural chew, so it's good for wearing down their teeth. Also by Rosewood, I got the Boredom Breaker Edible Treat and Gnaw Logs in the size small. I do have a pack of this already, but I've already used one with my Syrian hamster, so I wanted to try it out with my dwarf hamsters. It's really good for their teeth as well as a puzzle. Lastly, here are all the chews that I got for my hamsters. I do have a few chews already, but it's always good to have extra chews for your hamsters because they go through them quite often. Technically, these two are also considered chews, but because they contain seeds and things in them, I just use them more as treats. But for chews, I got from Pets at Home the fruit and veg chews. I got the big pack. And my hamsters really like these. They enjoy chewing on them. I also got the Woodlands. I think I got this also from Pets at Home. And this is the wood nibble sticks. My hamsters never really seem interested in chewing these. So what I do is I put them in the cage so that they're offered this as something to chew, but if they don't chew it, then I end up using it in a DIY. Next, I got the Rosewood Boredom Breaker Woody's Nibble Sticks. So far, I haven't seen my hamsters too interested in these, but once again, it's always good to offer a variety of chews. And I got these at my local garden center. Lastly, I got Whimsy Chews. I got the gator ones, and I got 3 different flavors. And all of my hamsters love these things. I give it to them once a month, and it doesn't matter what flavor or what color, really. I don't know if these have different flavor, I haven't tried them, but they're always very happy when they get them in their cage. You can buy these in a pack or you can get them individually. I got these at Pets at Home, and despite these being actual dog treats, hamsters just really like them, and it's also good for wearing down their teeth. And that's it for this hamster supply haul. If you enjoyed today's content, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, consider subscribing. Hit the bell button to be notified on my latest videos. Consider commenting down below on the pet supplies you like to get for your hamsters. And as always, thanks for watching. I first learned about this from ErinsAnimals, who, if you don't know who that is, she's a pretty awesome hamster care human.